Welcome back, everybody, to yet another really late episode of Undercooked Creepypasta, where if it smells like dog shit, then this episode will be hella lit. Only on uTonical, where if you need to film something really impromptu and on the fly, your DSLR camera battery will always be dead. Now, this pasta was requested to me incessantly by, I think, the person who wrote it. I never really knew if I was supposed to read it unironically or if it was just a troll pasta, so I completely ignored it until TVB Crap on the Discord server suggested that I put it on Undercooked Creepypastas. And then I was like, I remember this one. I recognize it. Yeah, I do.
Smells like a horse's asshole, though.
Anyway, without further ado, sit back, grab some refreshments, and come along with me as we explore and enjoy this spectacular shit stain.
June 24th, 2003. Summer break. My name is Timothy, and I just finished my freshman year at Barry Goldwater High School, while my 8-year-old sister, Rachel, was done with 2nd grade. We were watching Ed, Edd n Eddy on Cartoon Network when it cut to a commercial break. Sometime after the Geico commercial called Warm-Blooded Employees, there was one saying, Walt Disney's Sleeping Beauty is re-releasing for 7 weeks as a director's cut. Experience the film like never before. Screenings available in select cities. The strange thing about the commercial was that it was not narrated by Mark Elliott, the usual narrator for a Disney movie commercial. Since Rachel loved Disney princesses, I went on the computer to go on the AMC Theaters website. I looked at the AMC Deer Valley 30 showtime list, and I scrolled down the showtimes list for June 25th until I came across one saying, Sleeping Beauty, Director's Cut, 11:15 a.m. Later that night, I asked my dad if he could drop me and Rachel off to see Sleeping Beauty at AMC Deer Valley 30, and he said yes. Afterwards, we all went to bed. June 25th, 2003. This wasn't even properly paragraphed. If you're gonna start a new date, put it on a new fucking paragraph. Early that morning, our mom went to work, while our dad took us to McDonald's for breakfast. We got to the theater. Our dad spoke to the box office manager. 1 adult and 1 child for Sleeping Beauty at 11:15 a.m. He handed us the tickets and handed us a $40 bill saying, if you two get hungry, you two can eat at Panda Express. But if you two ever get bored, you can see another movie. Have fun. We thanked him. The ticket's stub stated that Sleeping Beauty is in auditorium number 16. Meanwhile, there was an usher who looked traumatized and shocked with fear, and he asked us, Are you two seeing the director's cut of Sleeping Beauty? We tell him, Yes, why? Then he said, What you're about to see will haunt you for life. We went in not believing him, but when we got in, the auditorium was empty, which was out of the ordinary for a popular Disney film or any film playing in a large auditorium. We sat in the stadium seats. The AMC Coming Soon bumper from 2002 to 2009 started along with the previews for upcoming movies like Freaky Friday, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, Elf, Big Fish, School of Rock, and Brother Bear. Then the feature presentation logo came on, along with the film. The Walt Disney Pictures logo came on as usual, but it was off-key. Can you tell this guy is obsessed with logos? Anyway, the Walt Disney Pictures logo came on as usual, but it was off-key. Then the opening credits came on, but the song Once Upon a Dream was muffled, and we could not hear anything. Then it cuts to the book, but the shot just froze on the book. I couldn't hear Marvin Miller, aka the narrator's voice. Then it cuts to Aurora's christening, where Maleficent places a curse that when the sun sets on Princess Aurora's 16th birthday, she would prick her finger on the spindle of the spinning wheel and die. Audio comes into the film. King Stefan orders his guards to kill Maleficent. And I thought, that's not what he said in the original film. Something's fishy here. Something's askew. Something's disheveled. Then it cuts to the scene where Princess Aurora is in the forest singing I Wonder. I thought, this was pretty late in the film. But the shocking thing was, there were no signs of animals such as rabbits, squirrels, birds, or an owl. Then it cuts to an image of a skeleton laying in the desert. This confused us. Then it cuts back to the film where we see Aurora crying in her room in the castle, but the terrifying thing was, it did not sound like cartoon crying. Ooh, it sounded like as if Mary Costa, the voice of Aurora, was actually crying. Then it cuts to Aurora, this time in a blue gown, and she was back at castle, but she was still crying. Then a breeze through the forest can be heard, and it sounded like the Kaibab National Forest in Williams, Arizona. Then it cuts to a sepia-toned image of a playground that looks similar to the one in Anthem, Arizona. And I say out loud, that doesn't make any sense because Anthem, Arizona was built in 1999. This guy goes way too deep into specifics about insignificant things. Luckily, nobody heard me say that because the auditorium was empty. But in the image, there was a girl who looked similar to Princess Aurora. She was staring at us in a gloomy fashion. This almost made Rachel hide under the seats. Then it cuts back to Aurora with pink eyes from crying, and she said, "What is the point of living?" The scary thing was, her voice did not sound like Mary Costa at all as she continued on. "I betrothed to Prince Philip, but there was a man in the forest who loved me." She began to sob again, then said tearfully, "I need to end it all." Then she walked towards the spinning wheel, and a voice says, "Do it." Then Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather enter. Then Maleficent says to them, "You poor simple fools, thinking you could defeat me, the mistress of all evil. Well, here is your precious princess." The three fairies looked in horror at Aurora's corpse as it lies on the floor. Then Maleficent says to them, "As for you three, you shall die." But it did not sound like Eleanor Audley. Then Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather turn into fairy dust.
Delicious fairy dust. That was good, my pretty.
Then it cuts to the forest where Prince Philip is riding his horse named Samson to the woodcutter's cottage in the glen. Then he sees Aurora in her briar rose outfit saying, "You remember to come." When she went up to hug him, Philip began to feel the death touch, which means it was Maleficent in disguise as she laughs so hard like a maniac that it would give Eleanor Audley vocal polyps. I probably have a few vocal polyps myself doing all the crazy vocal shit that I've done on this series. Then a time card appeared that said, 1 month later. The strange thing about it was that it was spoken by the same French narrator from SpongeBob SquarePants. You mean Tom Kenny. Even an idiot knows who the French narrator is in SpongeBob. Did you also know that Tom Kenny was also Patchy the Pirate? A funeral was being held for Princess Aurora, Prince Philip, Flora, Fauna, and Mayweather. Then the film ends with a slow and sad version of Hail to the Princess Aurora. Rachel was crying and I was comforting her. We told customer service about the movie, and what did they do? They ejected the film reel for Sleeping Beauty director's cut, took it outside behind the movie theater, and destroyed it with a hammer. How are you going to destroy film strips with a fucking hammer? Someone could take the actual film strip, repair it, restore it if they need to, and put it on a new spool. It's not that hard. You can't actually destroy film without cutting it. Even if you wrinkle it to shit, it can still be flattened back out somewhat, and things could still be legible. Fuck, shit, tits, cock. That is all. They apologized to us for any inconvenience, then we go to have lunch at Panda Express. After that, we decided for us to see a different movie called Hulk 2003 in Auditorium number 26, which made us feel better. If you find a showtime for Sleeping Beauty Director's Cut, do not under any circumstances watch it. But if you disobey my warning and you see the film entirely, it is safe to say that it is already too late for you. What a way to start the 2019 season for Undercooked Creepypasta, huh? Now, from what I can tell, this is a modified version of a creepypasta that was incessantly referred to me over and over again last year by the same person. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be a legit creepypasta or if it's just supposed to be a troll pasta. Whichever way, however you slice it, it's bad. It's bad. There were some pretty glaring grammatical discrepancies in this story. Missed full stops, misspelled words, the usual stuff, you know. Sometimes it goes on a little too long, like a run-on sentence. There was also improper formatting for this story. When the dates were being written out, like June 24th, 2003, June 25th, 2003, for the next day, it was not on a new paragraph. It was on the same paragraph for the day before. Finish that paragraph, and then put the new date on another paragraph. I don't even know why you needed the dates. You could have just said June 24, 2003, and then just say the next day instead of June 25th, 2003. Then he goes far into specifics about certain things, like say, oh, this certain breeze through a forest sounded specifically like one in this national forest in Williams, Arizona. Like, okay, you have not heard a breeze till you went to the K-Bomb National Forest in Williams, Arizona. That is a fucking breeze. That is a wonderful sounding breeze, I must say. That is my selling point for K-Bomb National Forest in Williams, Arizona. No other breezes sound like it. Next up, how are you gonna smash a fucking film reel with a hammer? Put the motherfucker through a paper shredder, I don't give a shit, but smashing it with a hammer is probably the most ineffective way of destroying a film reel. Now, do you want my opinion on the most effective and commonsensical way to destroy a film? Burn it. Burn the motherfucker. Don't hammer the fucking thing. That won't do shit. You're just destroying the casing it's in, not the actual film itself. Is it cliche? Yeah. The story's cliche. Lost film. What would someone with an ounce of common sense do? Torch the son of a bitch. Then at the very end, you say, if you find a showtime for Sleeping Beauty Director's Cut, do not under any circumstances watch it, but if you disobey my warning and you see the film entirely, it is safe to say that it is already too late for you. Why is it already too late for me? All right? What are the unexplained circumstances for viewing this movie? Is it food poisoning at Panda Express? You know, what are we supposed to expect? If you're trying to be cryptic, this is not the way to go about it. You should say something about, you know, at least say, oh, I went crazy after seeing this movie. This movie messed with my psyche. Now, if you're trying to avoid a cliche in that, I understand, but if you're trying to thread in some kind of cryptic thing at the end, that's ineffective. It falls flat on its face and people don't know what to expect. Not that that's a bad thing, because if it's really well executed and people don't know what to expect, it adds another layer of fear to it. But this is a really poor execution of that, and it leaves more questions than answers. So much so that it confuses the reader. It sure as hell confused me. In closing, this creepypasta is the quintessence of a story written by a third grader. It reminds me of a slightly less terrible version of Wizard of Oz 1936, but that's not saying much. 3 out of 10 doggo dookies. And that was it for this month's episode of Undercooked Creepypasta. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you really enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. And if you really enjoyed this video, share it with your friends. Have a good day or good night or whatever time you're watching this. This is uTonical signing out. I love you all. Take care.